JB here, JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding Monday, September 15th, 9:18 a.m. on this fine morning talk. Really quick about the market, some names I'm looking at, go from there. Side note, still somewhat under the weather. Hopefully I don't run out of breath like Friday, but feeling better. Anyway, so apologize for my voice. I talk really quick about the markets, what's the week ahead, etc. This week, obviously, is the most anticipated Fed meeting since, last September, around this time, we were looking for the first Fed rate cut. And to start the Fed rate cut cycle, they delivered with a 0.5% jumbo cut this year. Now it's 99. Well, it's the if you go to the CME Fed Watch tool, 93% probability of a quarter percent rate cut. And then there's some who think that they might do a jumbo rate cut. But we'll find out on Wednesday. We also get retail sales data tomorrow, 0.3% estimates. I don't know if that's going to move markets too much. But I put in a watch list this morning. Yes, Friday's action after the CPI, the PPI, and the weekly jobless claims, it was kind of like telling, I think, of how the action might be for today and tomorrow. 0.3% trading range. VIX traded down to year lows. So we'll see. Pending any crazy shenanigans, there's also trade talks, China and U.S. in Madrid. So who knows? Maybe there'll be some resolution with TikTok. I don't think that will have any kind of surprises, but you never know. There could be, if there's some stall or some kind of issue, you can expect some POTUS tweets. But outside of that, maybe some consolidation here today and tomorrow. Chop between maybe 653 and 657. Well, we're up at 659 here. The upper Bollinger Band on the SPY is 657.31. So that's kind of an area I'd be watching. And then, small caps were down 1% on Friday. So maybe those can show some life here into Wednesday. That's kind of the overall markets. We did this morning for four filed by Elon Musk, bought over $1 billion worth of Tesla shares, right? Funny, he was using that money for political purposes. He probably should have just bought stock buyback and the stock would have been substantially higher than where it is today. But anyway, it's kind of, sparked the shares there. That'll probably help the S&P and the Dow, large weighting for both. The stock's at 425 here. I don't know where Gordon Johnson is of GJL Research. I think that's his firm. He was on a different firm before, but he's been bearish. I think he has like a $12.17 price target on Tesla. It's funny he does those little things. But here's the stock just rallying, surging. Musk. I remember if you've been trading long enough to remember some of the days. One of the days where he bought shares, but he had to lever things, right? So he was holding margin to hold shares, and this is Tesla before it's churning out profits, right? I mean, the company was on the verge of their bonds going 50 cents on the dollar and things like that. So here it is further out, just remarkable stuff. I'm trying to think of some of the other analogies here, but great sign there, and we'll see how Tesla plays out. A huge rally last week too, so it's tough to trade that one, but that should help the market. Also, overnight, I guess China having some issues with NVIDIA, antitrust issues. I guess in regards to their Mellanox purchase, gosh, I used to be a big bull on Mellanox back in the day before NVIDIA acquired them. I don't know if that's some of the reasons it's selling off, but anyway, we'll see how things play out here this week. Just quick on individual names. I'm trying not to go on too far in a rant. First, JOBY, right? JOBY had rallying on Friday on news that the executive order that was signed by Trump was going to possibly allow some of these electric vehicle takeoff and landing companies to get their progress going without the actual certifications from the FAA before official approval. So you would have to think that's like a extremely bullish sign for these names. And JOBY rallied up to 15, then gave it back, closed down to $14. Still up 2% on a day, but it's rallying again here this morning. If it holds, maybe 14.75. Might look for some more strikes there. Duolingo, right? I traded some of those spec lotto calls, was able to lock some in to cover costs, and then it fizzled on Friday all the way up to nearly 320, and then just found some sellers and chopped around for the rest of the day. Duocon is tomorrow, right? So it's a $14 billion company. They have $1 billion in cash. The company's grown 40% plus on a year-over-year basis. And they had monster earnings. So you see, folks there's concerns in some of these names, right? That number one, that AI is going to supplant a lot of these companies and names, and Duolingo is one of those names. Then you have the possibility that Google, right? And with Google, the Google Translate or the means for folks to not have to learn languages or what have you is going to supplant Duolingo. But it's like their learning platform. And if you look, it's a very it's an impressive platform they have, and they're branching out outside of just the language models. So So you see it sell off from March, and I don't think it was more just, selling off. Maybe people worried about a recession or what have you, and the tariff issues. And then all the way down to lows in August, then it had earnings, boom, monster earnings, monster beat, raised guidance all the way up to nearly $500, and then it sold off. And some of that I talked about last week was their CTO leaving, or was it CMO? Created the viral content that supposedly created a lot of the user growth. But I think I don't think that has, it's going to really stall their growth. Maybe the growth slows a little bit, but not to the point where it's not substantially positive. So I think there's an opportunity. I think their live stream, it's a live stream event, starts tomorrow, DuoCon, I think at 12 o'clock. So they're going to announce new features, new updates, things like that. I don't know how much market moving it is, detail wise, but it certainly could offer some surprise. So I might look for some more calls here. I think regardless of what happens at the event tomorrow, it trades up near its 50-day moving average, 330, and then you look at the 200 days at 372 and change. So might look for some strikes. They're expensive, so if I do add small positions, um, that's that. That's Duolingo. Yeah, Nike's tough, right? And I had those. I was looking. It was holding up for a week, and then it just fizzled on Friday. It's tough. I might look for some more strikes. My 80 calls are done, so tough for me to. It's I've seen some weekly options that pay off, and I'll try and salvage them for a cent or two. So for me, I'm just going to hold them. So that's Nike. IIPR announced their dividend this morning. I think there were concerns that maybe it wasn't going to be what it normally is, which is $1.90. So they announced it's $1.90, which, you do the math. That's $7.60 dividend. So remarkable stuff. Divide that into the stock price. Was that a nearly 15% yearly dividend? So if anything, I think it spurs shares. Things trades higher. 57.50 is the big area. So if it breaks over that, I'll lock the rest of my Octobers in, add some more strikes there. GME, just waiting for this one to break out, up 6 sessions in a row, although Friday's gains were small. Take a look at a weekly chart. I'm not one who usually uses the weeklies too much, but this consolidation, then finally a big break last week. Maybe it's the start of something. Not only that, the warrant dividend, that's going to go in October. So you have to think the shorts, 16% short interest, will have to like mull their options, because those dividends are going to start trading. They're going to have to cough up the money for them, right? So you either sell your short, cover your short, or you're on the hook for not only you're on the hook for the short shares now, you're on the hook for the dividend, which at the expiration date's in 2026. Those dividends are probably going to trade at least $4, even with the stock not at $32. So interesting stuff there. SERV Robotics rallying. It's gapping here at 1250 here in the pre-market. No news, no catalyst for the move on Friday. So surprising, all the way up to 13 to 10 o'clock. Gave it all back. Still closed up nearly 7%. Locked some more of my October strikes in for close to 300%. Locked some of the January's in for close to 100% to cover costs. I was looking for more strikes this morning on a risk reward basis. It's tough, right? Because I already hold positions, and then do I get to September 19th weeklies to play for a gap and go here today? I'll be watching. I'll probably just sit on my hands on that one. Reddit got an upgrade this morning from Needham, price target all the way up to 300 from 225. It's just a matter of time before that's over $300. I was looking at 300 strikes at the end of last week. Maybe today's finally the day. That's Duolingo. And last but not least is Visa. Lower highs, lower lows. It's right at 200-day moving average. So that's, I'm not going to, if I do get a put hedge, it will likely be in that. But if there's market weakness, we might get some chop at the open. Some of the trade recently in the market, when we open, seems like we sell the highs, dip to maybe flat, dip a little red, and then we bounce at about 10:30, 11. So would not be surprised to see a little pull at the open, and then maybe an opportunity to get some calls for bounce. Anyway, let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.